Good morning, church. Let's talk about Joshua chapter 13. So, as we begin this chapter, we've already seen how Joshua is kind of on his way out. The author of the book has been preparing us for Joshua to be done, to die, and someone else to take over for him. And now here it is. God finally says to him, Joshua, the time is coming fast for you to die, to pass on leadership to somebody else. And he says there's a lot of work left to be done. And God doesn't say this in a way to be disappointed with Joshua. He doesn't say you've been unfaithful because you haven't been able to complete the job. He doesn't say, gosh, Joshua, I wish you had been a little more faithful. Instead, he just says, you did what I asked. And that can be, kind of counter to what we expect. We want more and more results. And we're very utilitarian in the way that we think about ourselves. You often define yourself by what your job is or what you're able to accomplish, how much you've got in the bank account. But God looks at what Joshua has done, and even though it's an unfinished job, he says, you've been faithful, you've been good, and you deserve the rest that you're about to get. And he doesn't even say to Joshua, it's up to you to find a really good leader to pick up where you left off and make sure, the ball gets across the goal line. He says in verse 6, I myself will drive out these other people before Israel. He's going to finish the work. It's not up to Joshua. It's not up to somebody that Joshua can find and train and make sure he's got all the resources at hand. God's going to do the work. And so when you look at your own life, think about how God is providing for you. Think about how God empowers you, how God is leading you. Don't try to run ahead and do a ton more. Burn yourself out and think I'm extra holy because I'm working so hard to get more done than is expected. Listen for God's leading. Don't do any less than God asks, but don't feel like God needs you to be a superhero and win the battle for him. God's power is sufficient. God will be the one who brings victory and salvation to his people. So trust in God, trust in his power and in his leading.